What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Outro, and I'm back at it again to discuss the latest and craziest developments in the One Piece story. In this one, we get Monkey God Luffy, we get Kaido's final awakened form, Kaido flashback, a death, and more, so make sure to stay tuned for this one. If you do enjoy these One Piece videos and want to keep them coming, you know what to do, channel Pirate King with it, and smash that like button with no mercy. Remember, smashing is Pirate King energy, and passing is scared Orochi energy, and no one wants to be Orochi, especially in this chapter. If you haven't made this video, subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future One Piece videos and updates. And now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. This chapter is called 20 Years, referring to a prophecy, and as we'll see, we get a significant flashback to the events of 20 years before, but more on that later. The chapter starts where we left off last time, with Luffy's giant arm towering over Kaido's dragon form. Momo is freaking out since Luffy asked him to move Onigashima out of the way, and he's still doubting whether he can actually do so. He even says that it can't be done. But even as he's saying this, he recalls his mom's words and trusts in him being able to revive the Kozuki clan in the future. Then he begins headbutting the island, probably knocking some sense back into himself, but maybe this is also just him trying everything he can to move the island. We get some great panels of Luffy and Kaido in the chapter. The juxtaposition between the two is frequent, and at first we see Luffy facing downwards and Kaido facing upwards. And Kaido never ceases to impress as an antagonist. For a while now, it was hinted at or remarked that he's getting exhausted. I'm pretty sure even Yamato noticed a while ago and she would know, but the dude is as confident as ever. Oda is really doing justice to how hard it is to beat this Yonko. I don't think anyone will feel like Luffy's eventual victory wasn't earned because of the amount of time and respect Oda paid to Kaido over the course of this war. After everything he's already been through, including Luffy punching him through his face, literally through it, he says he'll take this massive attack from Luffy head on. Remember, he dodged one of Zoro's attacks before, and yet he's now, after all that fighting, gonna take on what looks like Luffy's ultimate attack to date. You gotta respect the dude. Kaido then says this country's hero burned to death 20 years ago, referring to Oden. Crazy how much respect Kaido still has for Oden after all this time, even considering him this country's one and only hero. He then uses a new move, Flaming Drum Dragon, aka Great Blazing Dragon Torch, where he pretty much becomes a fire dragon. Not only is he blowing fire anymore, his whole body is surrounded with it. Now, there's been no mention of this being his awakening, and you guys know I think his awakening was from Magikarp to a dragon, but we can say that this is a further awakening of powers, a new and perhaps final move he's been saving for this moment. This dude is still surprising us and has been holding stuff back, absolutely amazing stuff. Even though Luffy seemed overpowered right after his awakening was revealed, Oda has done a great job of letting Kaido maintain his dignity, and he has stood his ground against this awakened god fruit for a while now, despite it being the most ridiculous fruit ever. Now he even gives us something brand new with Flaming Drum Dragon, and I absolutely can't wait to see the clashes of these two seemingly ultimate godly mythical zone attacks. Kaido further comments that they, meaning the people of Wano, have waited for you saviors to show up, meaning Luffy and his friends. As Kaido's dragon body continues to light up on fire, Luffy's hand gets burned and he has to let go of Kaido. Kaido even reassures him, saying, "Don't worry, it's okay to let go. I assure you I won't run." And I love this attitude from the antagonist. He's seen a stronger version of Luffy than we've ever seen before, and he's not even worried enough to try to dodge his ultimate attack. He'll even help Luffy by promising not to run away. It's definitely arrogance, but he probably thinks he can break Luffy's spirit and make the fight finish sooner if he can take such a big attack and survive it like it was nothing. Kaido even assures Luffy that he'll actually do more than survive it. He'll vaporize Luffy's attack and maybe even Luffy in the process. And he seems to be speaking the truth, as a horn on the giant skull immediately melts when it comes into contact with Kaido's body. Luffy is confident too though, and pretty much says he won't let that happen. He thinks back to his learning Ryo here in Wano and says thanks to Gramps Hyogoro, he can attack without making contact. I really like that touch. Again, it's emphasizing the power and importance of Haki. Even with Luffy's ridiculously broken fruit, he wouldn't have been able to touch Kaido's burning body without Ryo. But now that he learned how to use it, he can still beat him without needing to touch him. I said last chapter that Haki would play a big role in his final attack, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. He needs to show Kaido he's a master of Haki and not just someone who got lucky with his fruit before he defeats the Yonko. Luffy, with a smile on his face, says he'll knock Kaido to the bottom of hell. You'd love to see it. I guess that would make him Zoro's underling, since Zoro is the king of hell after all. The two attacks are finally unleashed on each other, Blazing Bagua versus, and this is big, Luffy's, and I have no idea how to pronounce this, but Bajrang Gun. We're told this is a reference to the Hindu monkey god who was potentially the inspiration for Sun Wukong. The kanji used even means monkey king, and that's so cool. After all the theories that Luffy might have the Sun Wukong monkey god fruit, Oda gives us this moment where he launches a monkey god attack. He really gave us monkey god Luffy, even if he did end up having a different, no less hype mythical zone fruit, and I love Oda for it. He's really delivered in this arc, giving us everything we wanted and more. Unfortunately, we don't get to see the result of the clash right away, just that Luffy is using his other arm to block his face and he seems in pain. Might be the pressure from the impact as well as Kaido's burning heat spreading from him. We then jump to other events like Usopp doing his best to save a dropped Kinemon and Kiku. We see other soldiers saying they're counting on Straw Hat to take Kaido down for good. Kawamatsu comments that this nightmare won't end unless Kaido is driven from the land. And the flashback reaffirms that that really is the case. We jump back in time to the scabbards running from a boiling Odin during the day of his execution. The shot goes off that finished him, and I'd assume there'd be some Haki-infused bullets coming from the gun or something, since it would be kind of anticlimactic for a normal gun to finish off Odin after everything he's been through. In that case, even a little kid could have fired it off and killed Odin, so that's just something I've been wondering about. We then see more of the annoying Orochi being Orochi. And remember, if you want to not be like him, just make sure you've made the like button explode with fireworks as it does now when pressed. Orochi tells him they'd only go to Kuri, and Kaido decides he'll deal with Odin's son himself. We see Kaido smashing through people as they beg him to have mercy and to stop hunting the Kozuki clan, while Orochi commands the forces to shoot any vermin who would defy their shogun Orochi. Since they saw no one else fleeing the ruins of the castle, they assume that the Kozuki line is officially dead. Then Orochi makes the daimyo choose sides, whether they'll help them usher in a new Wano or wage war. The daimyo obviously refuse to work with them, even saying the answer is obvious. They try to avenge Odin, including the Zoro lookalike, but as we know, they don't manage to stop Kaido. Kaido burns countless people with his breath as Orochi laughs. Orochi calls the others weaklings, even though the dude is completely reliant on Kaido himself. Crazy what happens to a person when he doesn't smash that like button. And then we see time pass. We see able-bodied men being recruited to work in factories. We see people being kidnapped. We see the pollution of the environment making the place unlivable for the majority of people. The water becomes undrinkable. The crops stop growing. You see skulls just hanging around on the ground. All the while, they try to break the spirits of the workers by saying that Wano will stay closed and they shouldn't count on miracles to save them. However, some still speak of patience in Toki's words. It's like the prisoners who survived by believing in the legend of the sun god Nika, the warrior of liberation. Then Orochi keeps being hateable, laughing at the poor people who ate the leftovers of defective smile fruits and began to laugh ceaselessly. He was amused at how hungry and with their loved ones keeling over around them, they'll still never be able to stop laughing. He calls it the perfect fate for the country's pests and laughs. This must be the most hateable character in One Piece. Honestly, tell me if you think of a more hateable one, but I really can't. Now we jump back to the present with an on-fire Orochi trying to take Hiyori down with him. But luckily, Denjiro comes in time and saves her. Props to those who predicted it would be Denjiro in the comments of the last video. I know there were some of you. You were correct, and hopefully we've finally seen the end of Orochi, the dude who just hasn't been able to stay dead in the past thanks to his own mythical zone fruit. I'm telling you, these mythical zone fruits are crazy, and if you want to learn more about them, check out my All Mythical Zones and Their Powers Explained link in the description. Back to the chapter though, and it seems like this is really it for Orochi, finally. Since we see one of the flying wish lanterns with the writing "Please make Orochi disappear," that to me suggests that Denjiro did in fact make the wish come true this time, because otherwise why show it together? We see another one saying "Free us from hell," and then we jump to Luffy and Kaido's clash again. They are both still going with with a determined look on their faces. This of course suggests that like Denjiro made the first wish come true, Luffy is about to make the second one come true by defeating Kaido and thus freeing the people of Wano from hell. And they never would have been in the position they're in if not for Kaido. It's also just crazy to see how far the Conqueror's haki is shooting off from the original point of impact. But yeah, that's what happened in this one. Let me know who was your MVP, what will happen next, is this attack going to win it for Luffy, or will Kaido keep the fight going a while longer? We're told by the narrator that the present hears the cries of the past, and I wonder if that's foreshadowing that we'll be jumping into a flashback in the next chapter and get some more Kaido backstory of how he decided to go from the maybe I'm Joy Boy guy to the I'm going to ruin Wano's whole career guy. If we jump right into a flashback next chapter, then this could very well be the last attack. I am not one to believe that Luffy will lose another time to Kaido, but time will tell, and let me know if you think that the raid will fail, or at least that Kaido will beat Luffy one more time. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, then you know what to do, channel the Pirate King Within, and smash that like button. Don't be like a passing Orochi, but be a smashing Pirate King. If you haven't, make this the video, subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future One Piece videos and updates. After Luffy beats Kaido, I strongly believe Luffy will be a Yonko, and you can check out my new video, The Next Generation of Yonko is Already Here, to learn more about that and the other new Yonko in addition to Luffy. Also, you can check out my huge and growing One Piece playlist that also includes videos on all the Yonko, Warlords, Admirals, Mythical Zones, and much more. Link to that is in the description. Thanks again for your support, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.